8 months until the World Cup, and right now the most informed players are being frozen out by their managers. Today, we're counting down 10 players who might miss the biggest tournament on earth. And if that happens, it's a crime. Let's get straight into it. Number 10 position, we start by Lucas Stasser. If you haven't watched Lucas Stasser last season, he had a breakthrough season in Liga playing for Saint Etienne, where he banked at least 12 goals, where he had 15 goal involvements in Liga in his first season. And this season he picked up where he left 4 goals and 2 assists in 8 games, third top scorer in the division. And Belgium are missing a great striker in Romelu Lukaku, so I thought that Sasser would get his chance. No, Rudi Garcia decided to call up Michi Batshuayi, who played only 63 minutes this season and had, of course, 0 goals, 0 assists. While Sasser is keeping banging goals in every week with Saint Etienne and can't even get a phone call. He's even considered leaving Saint Etienne this summer because he wanted to play the World Cup next summer. So I really hope Lucas Stasser gets his call up because he deserves it in that Belgium team. The other player on this list is Adam Walton. And if you have watched the Premier League this season, like you understand me, you know that Adam Walton is one of the best players to watch in the Premier League, and even people like Gary Lineker said it, like in last game, for example, against Everton, he was easily the best player on the pitch, even if Palace lost the game, and what's crazy is that after leaving him out, Thomas Tuchel sent him a text saying, you played well, you're close, and you deserve to be here. Then why don't you just call him, because even Thomas Tuchel explained it publicly, saying Adam Morton deserves to be with us. Then he's not still in the squad, make it make sense. If you think he deserves it, if you are ready to literally text him, just pick him, make it make sense. I really hope Adam Morton gets his call up because he deserves to be there. The next player on this list is, of course, Anthony. No, not the same Anthony that flopped at Manchester United, but the Anthony that played for Real Betis last season and went this season. Last season he was sensational, 9 goals and 5 assists in 25 games, helped them reach the conference final, was nominated for La Liga Player of the Month. Anthony was nominated for La Liga Player of the Month over players like Vinicius and Rafinha. Even Carlo Ancelotti called him up in I think it was in May for the first time since 2 years. First forward to October, he hasn't got a call up yet. We know that Brazil aren't really blessed on that right wing side, so I hope Anthony gets called up because he's playing one of his best football in Spain. The next player on this is Isco, and for me this is heartbreaking because if you watch La Liga, you know that Isco has been phenomenal since joining Real Betis, and he's one of the best playmakers in La Liga. And in May, 6 years away, Luis de la Fuente finally called him up. I thought the comeback would be complete, but then nothing. Back to being ignored. And Spain usually does it with players. Like they did it with Sergio Ramos, they did it also with Iago Aspas, and now it's Isco's turn. They call it generational renewal, but I call it, for honestly, disrespect. He's 33. It's his chance to play a World Cup. He's playing at a level most players can only dream of, and Spain won't give him a look. For me, Dani Olmo goes to the World Cup and Isco isn't there, for me, that would be tragedy. We keep going with midfielders because the next player on this list, you're more familiar with him if you have been watching this channel, and I'm talking about Elliot Anderson. He won the U21 Euros already with the Young Lions. He was named in the team of the tournament. He scored in the quarterfinal this season. He's picked up where he left from Nottingham Forest. For example, against Midtjylland, he was easily the best player on the pitch, most touches, most chances created, most duels won. He's carrying this fullest team. And it's crazy because even Eddie Howe, who was his coach at Newcastle, literally said that he regrets sending him. And we're talking about a team that has Bruno Guimaraes, Joe Linton, and Sandro Tonali in midfield. In August, he got his first senior call up. And yeah, Thomas Tuchel is trying to to trust him. But I'm scared with the return of players like Bellingham, with other players who might emerge. I'm scared that Thomas Tuchel will leave him out of the squad. And if that happens for me, that's absolutely criminal because Elliot Anderson deserves that place in England alongside Declan Rice in midfield. Another player who might miss up on the World Cup is Hugo Ekitike, and for me this one will hurt because yes, 79 million to Liverpool. He's been on fire. He scored in each of his first 3 games this season. That's something hasn't happened since Daniel Sturridge in 2013, and of course he has the best goals per minute ratio of the club. And imagine that Deschamps didn't even call him up in August initially because he had called up, I think, Barcola, and then he got injured. His first call up, he gets 8 minutes. That's okay. Then the next game, he comes in at the 96th minute. I don't think even he touched the ball because he played literally 30 seconds. And we know with Deschamps' obsession to play Mbappe as a striker, I'm scared that he might leave Hugo Ekitike out and choose the Parisian players when they will be back, Barcola, Desiré Doué, and he will leave Hugo Ekitike and keep playing Mbappe as striker. If Ekitike doesn't go to the World Cup for me, that's an insult. Honestly, that's an insult, and because he deserves his place, he's shown it with Liverpool, and I expect him to explode this season. And he has even to start, not just be in the squad, but he has to start. The other player on this list that hasn't been called up is Phil Foden yet. 2 goals, 2 assists for City this season. He's playing brilliantly at number 10, almost back to the Foden that we knew, But Thomas Tuchel left him in September, and he left him out in November because he wants. I think Thomas Tuchel wants to keep the same squad. He wants to build a consistent squad for the World Cup, but Foden is currently the best number 10 of England, especially with the injuries of Palmer and Bellingham. And for me, if you don't call Phil Foden right now, then when will you call him? And for me, Foden is still the type of player that can change you a game in a second because of his natural talent. For me, if Foden misses the World Cup, for me, I think that's an insult, and for me that would be a crime. The next player of this list, and the player that for me I'm the most frustrated about because of his situation, is Corentin Tolisso. For me, Tolisso is the player that absolutely deserves to be in this France national team, but Didier Deschamps, I don't know what he's got against him because Tolisso is a Champions League winner. He's a World Cup winner. This guy has won everything, and now he's back at Lyon since 3 seasons, and he's been phenomenal. He's the captain. He's been incredible in Ligue 1. For me, easily the best midfielder after the Paris midfielders, after João Neves and Vitinha. He's easily the best midfielder in Ligue 1, and he's not only the best midfielder in Ligue 1, but he has shown it in Europe with Olympique Lyon in Europa League. For example, his match against Manchester United before getting the red card. It's an incredible performance, and I don't understand how Camavinga gets a call up. A player like Corentin Tolisso, players like Manu Kone. I absolutely love Manu Kone, and I love what he brings to the Équipe de France, but is he really a better player than Corentin Tolisso? Even Didier Deschamps went for and called up N'Golo Kante, who's playing in Saudi, and didn't call up Corentin Tolisso. For me, something's wrong. And Didier Deschamps tried to explain himself, saying that he calls players like Manu Kone or Rennes Zaïre because you want to build the future of France. You want to start trusting the future, and I get it. I would understand it, but then why do you call player like Florian Thauvin? Why do you bring back Florian Thauvin after 2-3 games in Ligue 2-3 great games in Ligue 1? Florian Thauvin, by the way, nice debut. He came back, he scored. I have nothing against Florian Thauvin, but then make it make sense. Do the same thing for a player like Corentin Tolisso that has not only been great in Ligue 1 but also in Europe. For me, Corentin Tolisso, if he's not in that squad, I think that would be criminal. For me, that would be criminal. And I think I've heard this by a journalist who said it perfectly, Walid Dachachot. He said that if Didier Deschamps is not calling Corentin Tolisso, it's because he knows very well that, if Tolisso comes in this Équipe de France, he starts, and he's the best midfielder of l'Équipe de France. And Didier Deschamps doesn't want that Didier Deschamps wants to keep the same core, the same players. He don't want to redo all his tactics around the around the player because he knows something will need to change. You know, you can't bring Quinteto and put him on the bench with the level he has right now. For me, but for me, again, Quinteto, that's the player that even let me make this video because I think would be absolutely disrespectful to not call him. You know, let's keep going. The second player that on this list is Federico Chiesa. For me, Federico Chiesa, he's a Euro 2020 winner. He was a star in the Euros. He was named in the team of the tournament. He was a hero for the Italian team. And I think injuries came at Juventus. He struggled, and last season with Liverpool, he didn't play a lot. He needed to refund his fitness, but this season he's different. He's different. He's one of the best, honestly, Liverpool players. He's 2 goals, 2 assists. This season he doesn't play a lot. He has the best minutes per ratio at Liverpool, and for me he's looking like as the Euro 2020 Chiesa. And for me, if Gattuso doesn't call him up, that's a mistake because he said that he wants to call him up, but Chiesa said that he's not 100% fit. But Chiesa is calling with Liverpool. He's playing a bit of game time, but honestly, if Chiesa doesn't go to the World Cup, my number one person to blame won't be General Gattuso because I think Arne Slot is really treating bad Chiesa, and I think if Chiesa wants to play the World Cup, even if it hurts me to say it as a Liverpool fan, he might need to leave Liverpool to play the World Cup, you know. And the player who also inspired me to do this video, I think would be a crime to leave him out, is Jack Grealish. For me, if you leave this Jack Grealish out of the England national team, I think that's a problem, you know. He already won the Premier League Player of the Month for August. First month of the competition, he already won it. In terms of chances created, more goals involvement than any other English player this season. Yes, he's on loan at Everton from Manchester City, but he's been unreal. 4 assists in 6 games. He even scored the winner against Palace, who hadn't lost in 18 games in a row, you know. And Thomas Tuchel didn't even look at him, you know. I can't understand how players like Anthony Gordon, I don't want to say other name, but it's really Anthony Gordon, a better player than Jack Grealish at this time, you know. And Thomas Tuchel said that he's even a massive fan of Jack Grealish. Then why don't you call him? That's why I don't get from Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel is a fan of a lot of players, but he doesn't call them. Like, Grealish is 30 years old. The World Cup is 8 months away. I think that's also his last chance to be at the World Cup. And if those players can go to the World Cup, then I don't see any reason why one of the best, if not the best creative English player can't go to the World Cup. He's been the best in terms of left wingers. He's been the best in the Premier League so far. And if he keeps up his form, for me, he must be at the World Cup. You know, as I said, he's the most creative player in the Premier League. If Jack Grealish misses the 2026 World Cup after everything he's done this season, for me, again, that's not a crime. That's really a robbery. So 10 players, 10 potential crimes for me. The World Cup is 8 months away, and if these players misses out, for me, there is a problem. If players like Grealish, Chiesa, or Tolisso and the rest aren't there in the summer, we'll know exactly who to blame. I want to hear in the comments who's the player that you think should go to the World Cup next summer. Please let me know in the comments. And if you like this concept of video where I'm talking about national teams and potentially the World Cup, let me know in the comments. I'll do more of this. And if you like this video, the only way you can support is to like, subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.